Good afternoon, everybody. It is just after 12:30 UTC. Just doing a little bit of a Bitcoin update. I was really busy this morning, so I couldn't do one earlier. But yeah, everything played out really nicely from yesterday to today. Had the nice continuation, break of the high range or the August level, really. We'll jump through everything and then expectations for the weekend. Uh, Last bit of data for price came in, core PCE at as expected, and then slightly lower than expected. Generally, lower than expected is negative for the dollar, good for the markets, and vice versa. Going more into next week, just to see what's going on there. There's quite a bit of UK data coming out early morning. Fed Chair Powell is speaking later in the evening Monday, and I think what do we got? Nothing too crazy. ISMs, there's a decent amount of data. Friday, I'd expect a lot more unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls, that type of stuff. So, in general, overly not too much crazy of a outlook for the economic calendar, but that's what it is. Going over to some of the stuff for specific for Bitcoin, as we saw yesterday to today, long shorts are coming down. People are still trying to short into the upside drive, which is awesome. This is how melt ups happen. We were talking about this a week ago as we had a really strong upside trend, right? 2 weeks ago, maybe. But yeah, overall, great, awesome. Keep shorting in the upside trend. You're basically paying everyone who's still long from lower. So this is great. I don't see any local failures. This is, as long as this isn't basically coming up very, very long for as we're going to the upside, I think it's likely to continue. So the real way to use long short ratios is if the price is going up and people are retail, or as we see here, Binance accounts trying to short overwhelmingly, it just means that they're wrong, and the majority of the market has to be wrong for the market to work. So that's good for upside potential. That being said, we're overdue for a correction, and we'll see if we get it. Looking over the funding rates, surprisingly, BitMEX being negative, but in general, mostly positive. The OI weighted for Bitcoin is positive, which is understandable. They're trying to get people to short to build the books back a little bit. There's quite a bit of liquidations above us as well, but for the time being, not overwhelmingly bullish, not the biggest issue. We're still trending to the upside. Onto the liquidation heat map, we've got a ton of really local stuff stacked at 66K. If we do start breaking above that, I would expect 67 and 67.2 coming in hot. Looking a little bit higher time frame as well. Weekly outlook and then monthly. Yeah, we'll do that order. So we do have some pretty decent amounts, at least 66.5. You know, there is definitely some stuff higher to 67K, but that stuff is not really prevalent until we start looking at a much, we gotta go to the 3 month, I think, much higher time frame outlook. On that side and that perspective, I think the liquidations that still exist, or the liquidity that still exists above, is strong. It basically ends at 67.2, potentially a little bit higher, but overall, that's where that majority is. So this is where I would expect between here and there some type of at least local top for some retracement. It doesn't have to be, but definitely, if anything, the number one look for this area is a potential major profit target. But as we'll go through in the other charts, the big thing that we did, we created a higher high. I don't know why people aren't talking about this more, but from the low from the 5th of August to the lower high on the 25th of August, followed by the higher low from the 6th of September, followed by now, as of yesterday, a higher high. So we are trending to the upside on high time frame waves. So this is good. Overall positive. Even if we have a retracement here, as long as we hold that low from the 6th of September, we are looking at a trend change to the upside. So this is strong. It looked good last week and the week before. So let's see if we can get the continuation. Looking over at trading light, we've got quite a bit of resting orders above us. There's a lot of, but I don't really think these are real. I think this is fake. There's some lower time frame stuff that's a bit more interesting. I think that for the time being, they're pulling off these orders pretty aggressively. There's not a whole lot of long stepping into support price, but that's, again, as we see, people are trying to actively short this, and we have not yet lost anything. The losses that start to matter, in my mind, don't really start happening until 64.4. That's the failure that starts to break stuff back to the downside. For the time being, it looks up even on the heat map for resting orders. If we look at the order flow as well, it's been overwhelmingly bullish. Once we get a little bit overextended, we have a nice little pullback. This little pullback usually leads to, there you go, perfect 100x liquidations. If we do have a localized failure here, there are some imbalances to come back down to the lows to test, but overall it's still looking generally positive. Like I said, until we locally start breaking any type of structure, 64.4, the upside is definitely still the play until proven otherwise. There's a potential lower time frame failure here at 65.3, right? If we create a new low and he closes under 65.3, you'd want to target the imbalance in the order flow and in the market orders that would take you about $500 lower potentially. So for the time being, it still looks pretty decent. The TPO as well, we're bullishly backtesting the TPO, which is good to see. So all of this is positive. Again, no real expectations of failure until we start breaking kind of this upside drive, and realistically, that's 64.4. These lows here, this was the gain. This was the gain structure that we saw yesterday, which was strong. Looking over to Trading View, general plan here. Nothing really changed yesterday to today. I'm on the 4 hour. It looked good. We talked about the short that we got on Monday. That Wednesday, when we were looking at the Wednesday structure, it was not good for a potential short back down, just because, that was the short we did get as well, but we talked about this move Thursday. That was the one I was sketchy about trying to short, simply because it looked like it wanted to pop to the upside. I talked about that, and we got it. So I'm glad we're having a continuation. Watch 65.5. It's a very old high time frame level, but it's also critical to the local resistance. That flip should get you back higher to retest things, and as we saw, there's plenty of liquidity going back to 67.2k. On the downturn, if we do have some failures, the first one we talked about, 64.4 on the 4 hour, that would probably be involved with 64.6. So there's a nice little spot, 64.4, 64.6. That's the August open. If we do lose the August open, we want to see some retesting back down to the lows, at least to the weekly open, potentially back down to July Q3, but only on a failure of the August. Until then, you have priority to the upside, which is very, very strong. On the weekend, not expecting a whole lot. Hopefully we get some continuation. I'd rather just run flat. I don't want to create too many CME gaps. But for the time being, it looks good. It's performing well. And until we start breaking more significant structures such as 62.5K and then 61.5, you have upside trending price action. It's strong. It's clear. If Bitcoin price starts to stagnate, watch Bitcoin dominance and potentially get some rotations into altcoins and stuff like that. So that's that. Have a good one. Take it easy and catch you guys Monday. Peace.